Hey everybody, I'm Dan Hodgman with Topstep, and today I'm sitting down with funded trader Lewis out of California. Lewis, you've been in your funded account for quite some time now. You're making withdrawals, you're getting paid, and you seem to have some good things going for you. How's everything been?
Everything's going good. It's going good.
Awesome. So we were just talking before we clicked record here. You have been trading for about a year now.
Yeah, a year, still new, still learning. Long way
Has
to
it,
go.
has it only been futures?
No, so I started with penny stocks maybe a
Okay.
year ago. And then after, I wasn't trading penny stocks to make money. I just wanted to get my foot in the market, gain some consistency. But as soon as I was like, maybe I'll try to start making money, I realized how hard it was. And I was like, maybe there's another route I could go instead of losing all of my money.
penny stocks can be so tough sometimes. It's easy to load up on size. You can let it go against you a little bit. Oh, it's only a couple cents. I've lost a dollar here. It's okay. We'll recover. But it can be a slippery slope. But welcome to the futures industry. Obviously, you've made some great progress here in a year. Like we said, you've been getting withdrawals. You're making money. So when you came over to the futures side, what were some of the products and what was kind of that mentality when you first got going?
When I first came to futures, I only paper traded for 2 weeks before Topstep, and I was like, oh, I can do this. But as soon as I started the combine, I was like, oh, I need to really learn how to trade. I didn't have stop losses, and so it was a long journey. I first looked at crude oil and S&Ps, but then later went on to Nasdaq. So that's what I primarily trade.
Nasdaq seems to be that big shiny object these days. It's got the big moves. It pays out pretty nicely. Everyone's very intrigued in that product. It's been a fun product here this last year and a half or so. So when you first got started, you realized, okay, now I'm not trading with stops. That's a problem. All right, so that was one of the first lessons learned. But what were some of the things that really kept you engaged with the trading when you first got going?
Well, I love trading. I was really obsessed with it. So I just kept going with it. I just couldn't stay away from the markets, watching charts all day. So yeah, I just love trading.
That's awesome. I mean, trading's such a fun industry. It's slightly addictive at times, so we got to be cautious, not to always be jumping into the market, but looking for those opportunities. What are some of the things now that you've kind of been at this for a while? What are some of those, like the biggest struggles that you really had to overcome to get to from where you started a year ago to where you're at now?
Biggest struggles. I think the biggest thing for me is managing my risks and just being consistent, like not having my risks, limiting them as much as possible, and just protecting my capital. I think that's what I focus on the most, because I could make money, you can make money, but it's easier to lose it. So it's just protecting, like just limiting it as much as possible and have the account grow.
Absolutely. Well, and that's been the big transition. When we was down on the floor, it was a whole different industry, right? Our job was to fill orders. We were supposed to create liquidity. That was your job, not so much just trading, but create liquidity. You had when orders came in, you have to fill those orders. You got to be on the other side. You have to be there if you're standing there. Now it's kind of transitioned from being this full-time trade everything that comes into the pit to kind of be able to sit back, be a little bit more particular, selective with your choices. There's not a broker saying, hey, Lewis hasn't filled me in the last four orders I've brought into the pit. He's not getting this one because he's raising his hand. I'm skipping right over him, going to the next guy. We get that opportunity now, and it's really gone transition from this idea of trading everything to capital preservation, money management. Take what I have, make it a little bigger, continue to grow. That's awesome. I appreciate that, the way that you look at it there. So now, as you're moving forward, what are some of the things that you're looking at for entry points and for trade execution?
Entry points. So I mostly look for momentum in the 1 minute chart. So price action, imbalances in short time frames. I trade on the dome. So I watch the order flows. I watch how it flows. I just see how it moves, and using the VWAP for reference, overnight high, overnight low, 5 minute chart. I have the 30-minute chart with volume profile and the daily chart. So I use all of those reference to see like where everything would be like where traders would look for.
Yeah, it's great. You want to make sure you have the full picture. You mentioned 1 minute charts. I will say 1 minute charts is something I could never look at. I would get so misconstrued. It's a little too minor for me, I guess would be the right word. But I like the fact that you're taking that bigger picture. You're looking at higher time frames. I think it's really important to always recognize. You look at. I'll see it myself. I'll go to a 15-minute chart and then I'll look at an hourly chart, and you can see two different things. And all of a sudden, it changes your thought process. Like, wait a second, that hourly, that's the stronger time frame. That's true direction of what's going on in this market. It's 15 minutes. That could just be a small little pullback and a greater opportunity. And so being able to do that is really going to be beneficial. So a couple more questions for you, and we'll get the heck on out of here. But we have a lot of traders in this program, a lot of traders going through it. We all know trading is not the easiest thing. What's some advice you have for those people trying to work their way through this?
Yeah, so one, study and practice. So at the end of the day, I'll look at the charts and see how it moved. I'll also replay the market replay as much as possible. Usually I end trading and I turn off my computer because I just can't. I'll just want to get in, or I'll have like FOMO or something. So I just turn off the computer, and later in the day, I'll just replay the market replay and just kind of practice trading, practice my entry points, see how the market moves. So just a lot of screen time, a lot of practice, a lot of studying your trades, studying what you're trading, and just observe. And the second thing I'd say would be to take your time. Don't rush to finish a combine, or don't rush to get a certain like profit number. Usually when I try to rush, it's like, oh, it becomes harder.
Yeah.
But just take your time and give yourself time to learn. I think that's the biggest thing for me is I want to give myself time to learn how to trade and to become a better trader, because there's only so much I could take. If I have so much bad days, it'll just affect my emotional capital. So just taking your time.
Awesome. I love that. I think it's such a overlooked point to make, but it's all about patience in this. Just because the markets are moving does not mean there's a trade there for you. Just because things are happening, and just because maybe one person has a good day doesn't mean you're supposed to do the same. It's such a personal industry, a personal gig. You have to figure out yourself. You have to take your time. You got to be patient. I know everyone wants to get in this and, be the next Gordon Gekko or Paul Tudor Jones, right? We all want to get to that point. I get it. Trust me. I would love to be Paul Tudor Jones. Probably be awesome. But it takes time to get to those levels. We got to really be patient. So I really appreciate that. And homework is key. I hated homework growing up. I'm not an awful student, but yet every day, got to sit down, got to do the homework, got to understand, what did I do right today? What did I do wrong today? Really dive into that. All right. So you made some money, continuing to grow this account. Long term, what are some wild and crazy goals you got here?
Crazy goals?
Yeah. What are some crazy goals that trading can provide for you?
Biggest goal would be to be able to sustain myself, I guess, as like a main stream of income. That's pretty much my biggest goal to have.
Such a modest response. I mean, I want private jets, mega mansions on the ocean, yachts, cruising the Mediterranean. I'd take it all, but sustainability too. That's a good one. All right, Louis, one last question for you, and we'll get the heck on out of here. How's your experience with Topstep been?
Oh, it's great. I definitely learned a lot about risk management and discipline, all the guidelines that's with Topstep. It really kept me, that's how I passed the combines. That's how I'm staying funded. So I appreciate that and taking a lot from it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for taking the time and sitting down with me. Everybody else out there, take some notes, be patient, do your homework, set those stop losses in place, and maybe you'll be joining Louis in those funded accounts here soon. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.